I'm Julie Saunders.
I'm Jan Wilson. Julie and I both have experience as school librarians, and we've worked together as district library leaders.
In each episode, we'll dive into our profession with interviews and meaningful content to inspire you. We're not experts,
but we're pretty close.
The ideas and opinions shared by any host, guest, or listener are their own and do not represent those of any respective school district.
Welcome to Library Exchange. This episode is sponsored by Mackin. For over 40 years, Mackin has provided pre-K through 12th grade libraries and classrooms with access to over 4 million printed and digital fiction and nonfiction titles.
The 26-time multi-award-winning digital content management system, Mackin Via, along with divisions Mackin Library, Mackin Classroom, Mackin Maker, Mackin Learning, and the brand new whole school resource management system, Mackin Vision, help to create a truly unique and robust educational resource company that schools and educators have relied on year after year.
For more information, visit mackin.com today.
Hi, everyone. Whether you're just wrapping up spring break at the start of it or counting down the days, we're glad you've tuned in. And it's National Library Month. It's our time to shine, but we know that also means your plate is overflowing right now.
Julie, I think most librarians have multiple plates overflowing, you know? It really is that time of year where the days just fly. Sometimes you feel like the library program is running you instead of the other way around. But in honor of National Library Month, we want to help you build relationships that support and celebrate learning and increase family engagement.
One of the best ways to do that is by looking outside our four walls. Today, we're going to discuss partnerships with Kathy Schmidt, who is the Library Media Technology Specialist at Brock Elementary in Savannah, Chatham County Schools.
Kathy has 22 years of librarian experience in both elementary and middle schools and was named Library Media Specialist of the Year for Gwinnett County in 2011. She's also won Teacher of the Year twice.
Whoa.
And in 2019, she was awarded the Exemplary Middle School Media Program of the Year for the state of Georgia.
Wow. Welcome to Library Exchange, Kathy.
Hello. I'm excited to be here.
So let's start with a description of your school, your enrollment, staff, and the community you're serving.
Okay. We have about 500 students, pre-K through 5th grade. We are a Title I school. On paper, it says we are 96% free and reduced lunch, but the reality is we are about almost 100% free and reduced lunch. We have a newer ESOL population just since last year, which is I think we're about 18% ESOL students. We are definitely an inner city school in Savannah, and our kids come from some very tough situations.
Mm-hmm. About how many teachers do you have at your school?
We have about 50, a little bit over 50 between homeroom teachers, ESOL, resource, that kind of thing.
Great. That paints a good picture for us. Can we start off by you sharing the Reading Buddies program and your partnership with the United Way?
Sure. So the United Way of the Coastal Empire, which is our local United Way, about 3 years ago, the Rotary Club in Savannah reached out to United Way because they saw that kids' reading scores in our district were just awful. Our kids didn't know how to read. The Rotary Club reached out to United Way because they had been at a meeting where someone from the United Way in Macon, Georgia was speaking, and they had started this Reading Buddies program where they had volunteers go into elementary schools to read with students. So United Way reached out to Brock Elementary 3 years ago. And initially, I was not the contact. My assistant principal came to me and said, well, we're going to have to close the library 2 days a week for about an hour to do this reading program. And I said...
The word closed.
The word closed.
Yeah.
My assistant principal was like, well, that's what's going to happen. We have nowhere else to put these volunteers and kids. I turned around when I realized really and truly this is about helping our kids read. We have second graders. We have about 10 second graders and 10 volunteers who come every Tuesday and every Thursday from 12:30 to 1. And they sit and they read with our students. We use a program called Just Right Readers. Since that first year, I've taken over as being the lead contact there because I'm in the library, so you might as well use me. I switch out the books every week or every session for the volunteers. I'm the volunteers communication as well between United Way and also our teachers, so I can tell them, oh, this is what's going on with this student, or the teacher might tell me, oh, they're really having a hard time with fluency. These are volunteers. They are not teachers. They are not literacy professionals. They are a mix of people who just really want to help our kids. So we have some people that are retired. We have 2 colonels in the Air Force Reserve that come twice a week.
Interesting.
And we have the clerk of courts for Chatham County. Her and her assistant, they sort of tag team and they come. And really, it's just trying to make our community better and help these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I just love hearing about that one-on-one connection with the volunteers that they have with the reading buddies. It's amazing. So I do want to talk about your event that you had previously talked about with us called Lit on the Lawn. I know that involves everyone, I think. Can you explain that event and how you manage partnerships? And, it just seems like a huge event to pull off.
Sure. So you talked earlier about partnerships. I think if you're in a Title I school, one of the most important partnerships you can have is with your family engagement facilitator. Most Title I schools have a family engagement person on staff, and her office just happens to be in the media center. So her and I came up with this idea for Lit on the Lawn, and it is a reading event that we do in the fall. It's pretty hot in Savannah most of the year. So we usually do it in October when it's just a little bit cooler. Our kids get to eat outside, and I set it up. And then we get volunteers. Some are people from the community. Some are from our district office. This year we had our board member that was one of our volunteer readers. We also have some of the reading buddies that come and volunteer. They came in red. The vice president at United Way came in red. And so it's a great event. The family engagement piece of it is that we invite parents to come. And as part of that, we have a partnership with a group called the Mara Group. And they came and set up information from our parents. They also gave, I think this year it was popcorn to the kids as they went back to class. The public library also comes every year. They also read to our kids. This year they had stickers. And you would not believe what a read sticker, how excited all of our kids were to get a sticker this year. In the past, they've brought some discarded books that we can give to parents. My first year, we had some free books, new books that we gave away to each. So we had enough to give away to each student. We haven't been able to do that the last 2 years, but I'm always on the lookout for a partnership, a grant, or something like that.
Right.
It's a great experience. Our parents don't get to come and eat with our kids on a regular basis in the cafeteria. So this is a great way for them to come and sit with their kids outside and
But
do
Kathy, just so I have it right, so it's during the school day.
that.
And so for how long are they outside at this event? Is it by grade level?
It's by grade level, and we follow the regular lunch schedule. So it is a sack lunch that day. The kids go through the cafeteria and then come outside, and I have stations set up. Basically, a station is a couple chairs for the adults and for the reader. I have these really old cones that I found, like traffic cones that I put out with numbers on them.
Mm-hmm.
So as the class comes out, I usually have somebody say, okay, your class is going to station 1, station 2. I try and get in the shade, but that doesn't always work. I encourage the teachers to bring towels or blankets, or even the kids to bring towels and blankets so they can sit on and eat their lunch. And like I said, I do have some chairs for the adults. And so it's just their normal lunch times. So about It ends up being a little over their lunchtime, so about 20, 25 minutes.
How many stations do you have to provide for the number of classes on a grade level at the same time?
So I think this year I had 11,
Whoa, at the same time?
but at the same time. But it was just because things overlap. So, like we have 4 classes per grade level. And so, like, station 1 through 4 turned over pretty quickly, but then I needed the rest of them to fill in when we had, 2 grade levels that maybe overlapped. We also had this year, I involved our ESOL teacher, and she involved the district ESOL people.
Oh.
And we had 3 of them come out, and they did a story time in Spanish.
Oh, how nice.
So we pulled our Spanish-speaking kids from the classes, and that's where my ESOL teacher came in. She knows the kids. She pulled them, and then they did a story in Spanish. The ESOL people at the district could not believe we invited them, 1, and 2, just thought it was such a great way to connect with our Spanish-speaking families. And most of our ESOL students are Spanish-speaking.
And now a word from our sponsors.
It's time to talk about our friends at Kids Discover. They're an award-winning educational publisher that's been a favorite among students and school librarians for over 3 decades.
Their digital learning platform, Kids Discover Online, is a game changer for elementary and middle schoolers by providing access to thousands of science, social studies, and nonfiction articles.
And unlike other databases in the market, Kids Discover Online's modern interface is highly visual. It actually gets kids excited about reading and learning.
Plus, it's built for every student. We're talking multiple reading levels, translations in 28 languages, and a fully accessible interface for all learners.
You can actually get 60 days of trial access for your entire school right now by visiting kidsdiscover.com/digital.
Well, it's a good reminder that librarians can connect cross-department, with the English as a second language teacher and provide services there. But even to connect with people at the central office, that's really important to advocate for the role and what we're doing in libraries too.
Yeah, I think those are the types of events you want to invite your district personnel to because they do like to visit a school. And I know, I was just thinking, when I was in elementary school and it was sack lunch day, it usually meant something fun was happening. And this is like an on-site field trip.
Yeah.
So, and Kathy, like you aligned everyone both inside and outside of your school building. That's amazing. And since we're on a roll with great connections, we have time to discuss one more. Loop It Up Savannah. Can you tell us about that partnership and how it's impacting your students?
So Loop It Up Savannah is this amazing organization and run by Molly Lieberman. I believe Brock Elementary was one of the first schools that they came in and partnered with. So they do a lot of things at our school, but one of the big things is we have this beautiful garden right outside the media center. And so Loop It Up runs the garden program for us. We have a garden teacher, and she comes once a week. The kids come through the library to go out to the garden, and they do all kinds of things with her. But the good thing about being next to the library is we have a section. They got a grant about a year ago, and we got gifted a bunch of books about gardening. And so I created a section in the media center with these books that was through the grant at Loop It Up. And in fact, the garden teacher grabbed a couple yesterday as she was going out to the garden and used those. And, she lets the kids know where they are in the media center. And our garden is amazing.
It sounds amazing. Is the garden teacher part of the Loop It Up organization? Okay. I was about to say, I want to be a garden teacher.
I know. That sounds fun.
You know what? So a lot of the teachers that come in through Loop It Up are either retired educators or they're just starting their education or nonprofit careers. So we have a lot of young people that come in through Loop It Up. We also have a mindfulness room that they run one day a week, and they take kids there and do a mindfulness program. They also do a book It used to be a box. Now it's a tote bag that they decorate with our kindergarten students. And then they get a whole bunch of donated, gently used books. And the kids can go in and pick out, I think it's up to 10 books to put in
Nice.
their book bag and bring home.
So in addition to the literacy connection that you have with the garden, with having the gardening books in the library, what are some of the hands-on activities that the students get to experience when they go to the garden?
So they do everything from weeding. A lot of it's watering the different parts of the garden. We also have a bunch of fruit trees as part of our garden, so they will water those. But then we also have a mulch. It's a big thing to create mulch.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Like a compost type thing?
like a compost,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
they don't compost anything from the cafeteria or anything like
Okay.
that, but they will put in all the weeds or things that they pick up. And then they learn about that. The garden teacher teaches them. As they harvest things, they might get to taste something. A lot of times, like I remember kids, they harvested some beets. And we actually have a restroom in the library. So she came in and washed it off in the sink in there and came out and cut it up. And some of the kids were not fans.
That would have been me. I don't like it.
But and every once in a while, she will bring in a skillet or something like that and run an extension cord from the library. Don't tell the fire marshal. And she's taken greens and kind of cooked them up and let the kids try them.
That's so fun.
And things like that.
Well, I just love the ag science connection, because so many people, they do the whole engineering, STEM, coding, and those are easier connections with the types of technology resources, but to have the ag science connection, that's a really cool thing with the library.
And all of our kids, K through 5, at least once will get time out in the garden. They try and do twice, but sometimes it just doesn't work out for different reasons. Yeah. And then Loop It Up does come over a little bit in the summer just to make sure things aren't going too crazy in the garden. I've been known to go over there in the summer and get basil.
Oh, that's convenient.
I know. It's great. We usually have a whole thing of basil. I cut it up, go home, make some pesto. It's great.
So, Kathy, how can our listeners follow or contact you as we wrap up?
I'm on Instagram. I post both library stuff and some personal things, mostly pictures of my 2 grandbabies. But it is Kathy FS24, Kathy with a K. FS24 on Instagram.
Okay.
And if you really want to see what's going on at Brock, just Google Brock Elementary, Savannah, Georgia, and our website will come up.
Great, Kathy. So thank you so much for joining us today. You really showed how partnerships can turn our goals in the library into reality for our students.
Well, thanks, you guys. It was so exciting to be here.
We've exchanged ideas. It's time for our recap, and I'm going to get us started because who knows if I'll be able to get a word in once you start.
Well, I have to say, Jan, that I did notice that quite a bit in this episode, me jumping the gun.
You're trying to get a word in right now.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, Kathy described 3 partnerships. The first one is Reading Buddies. And she had a dilemma when her school admin wanted to close the library to host it. So, Julie, this is another example of choosing your battles when your space is needed.
Absolutely.
You need to be seen as a team player. In this example, it turned into a leadership opportunity for her because she began selecting the books and becoming the contact. But the thing I like the best is that the students are paired with a volunteer in the library. And so that becomes the place where they get one-on-one time with an adult, and that creates a lasting positive association of a library for them.
Absolutely. I think that positive partnership, it really connected those struggling readers with the community members that were excited about coming and volunteering. And the students really looked forward to meeting their reading mentors each week. So
I know some of them were
really cool.
colonels and
Yes.
in the courts or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Like clerk of the court, the colonel, the people from the military, there were leaders in military.
Is it pronounced colonel or colonial?
No, it's colonel,
Okay,
right?
thank you. Okay, I just doubted myself for a second.
Okay, all right.
Colonel Sanders, I got it.
Okay. So the other program that Kathy talked about was Lit on the Lawn. And that's something that any public school librarian could pull off with a little creativity and also with some partnerships in the community. The program had a field trip feel and really generated excitement around reading.
Yes, I give her an A+ for the guest list. Don't be afraid to invite district personnel, board members, or local officials because it advocates for the library's role and it gives kids a chance to meet, adult community leaders.
Yes.
And, kids love when parents or family members visit their school. So I love that program. And I want to talk about the Loop It Up Savannah, because it's bringing the library to life, literally. Did you see that, Julie?
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that.
I want you to clarify. I didn't interrupt you during the interview when you said ag. You said ag science.
Well, what I meant is agricultural science, because it's very easy to make a connection in libraries using engineering concepts, coding, because we have access to technologies that are available to students often in a library. But to have that agricultural connection when that's a huge field and a huge industry in the United States. And I think that we've got to expose our students to that part of science as well. And the library is a great place to do it.
Yeah, obviously I need exposure to that because I didn't know.
That's just the result of being brought up in the suburbs, I believe. But most people in most parts of the U.S. are familiar with agricultural science, right? But if you're in the suburbs, we don't have as much exposure. Our connection to agriculture is going to the grocery store, right?
Well, I heard you say ag science, but I didn't know. Anyway, moving on. With her Loop It Up Savannah partnership, sounded like every class has the opportunity to go into the garden at least once per year. And they were learning about weeding and harvesting and composting. And I had something funny to say during the interview when she was discussing the garden. Someone kept talking before I could get a word in.
That would be me.
It's probably not going to be funny now, but I wanted to ask Kathy if she's ever taken a break from weeding the collection to go weed the garden. That's a library joke that not very many people will get.
I like it. And I think it still worked. So congratulations on that. You pulled it off. But I have to say that, that Loop It Up gardening program, I mean, it not only beautifies that courtyard outside of her library space, but it allowed Kathy to provide literacy connections with the actual art of gardening, which was really cool. And, like you mentioned, the students got to participate in certain special programs where they were related to gardening, or even like a sample cooking class that happened a couple of times with the volunteers in that Loop It Up program.
Right.
So, it's really 3 great examples of utilizing community resources to meet the needs of students. And Kathy is making it happen, even with barriers that sometimes come with working in a Title I school.
Very nice wrap up there.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so you guys, you can follow Kathy on Instagram at Kathy with a K, F as in Frank, S as in Schmidt, 24. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to you joining us for our next episode.
Make sure to visit our website at www.libraryexchangepodcast.com.
You'll find episode notes and links. You can even submit your questions or inspiring stories that may be featured on the podcast.
If you're looking for some swag for your library or book-loving friends, visit libraryexchange.etsy.com.
That's a lot of URLs, so I'm glad you had to say all of that, Julie.
Thanks for joining us. We can't wait to have you back for our next episode of Library Exchange.